welcome back to Kat's Writing and Reading Nook. So today I have a story that I almost DNF'd, but kept going for reasons I'll tell you in just a minute. So this one is called Orphan Train. I honestly love this cover. It's really shiny. There we go. By Christina Baker Klein. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with the reasons that I really enjoyed this story when I was younger. They didn't outweigh some of the other things, so just gonna warn you now. So this book is split between 2 points of view. You've got Molly Ayer, who is the present day point of view. She is a teenager in the foster care system. She's been there for years, and she's gotten herself in a lot of trouble with drugs and boys she wasn't supposed to be around for reasons, and running away and all sorts of other things, which, given her circumstances, I understand the need to take control of the situation, but right now she's in danger of going to juvie when the story starts. But she gets the chance to do community service by cleaning out an older woman's attic. Now, this older woman goes by the name of Vivian Daly. She's the other point of view character in the story, but her points of view takes place in history, like Depression era history. And this is where the title of the book comes from, because she was on an orphan train, possibly multiple, can't quite remember. But these trains ran for, they ran for about 75 years. And they went from the East Coast to the Midwest, bringing orphans from the overcrowded cities to the farming communities of the Midwest, because the idea was children could go there, families would want them, and they would be an asset to the families. Now, this book focuses on a period of time in American history that most people don't talk about. You don't usually find it in a lot of history books. And I found it in mine, so I knew about them, but a lot of people don't. And I really appreciated that Mrs. Klein focused on that in this story. As you might have seen from the Hidden Child book review that I did, I am an amateur scholar of the eugenics movement. So I am all for these time periods that people don't really talk about. I really enjoyed I really enjoyed Vivian's point of view. It took place over a number of years. She was moving to different locations. She had a lot of different relationships to navigate. And I really enjoyed her point of view more than I did Molly's, Now, I started liking Molly as a character when I saw a memory of her and her dad before she got sent into foster care, and she started getting purpose. She started being able to look for her family and get some answers about her past. It felt like she had found a way to take control that didn't involve self-destructive tendencies, which I get, I really get, but I've also seen, since my family did foster for many years, the effects that that has on yourself and those around you, especially any kids that you have. Abuse, neglect, those are fun. I have some stories that, yeah, it's great. But Molly really does gain agency, like real, I can move forward, move past, I have people around me now. Just watching her grow as a person was really fantastic. There were a few scenes that caused me to almost DNF the book. Those do have to do with spice. Now, I read this when I was probably 15, 14, somewhere in there. Probably 14. Maybe it was 13. Regardless, I got this as a Christmas gift from a family member, and I did not want to DNF because I didn't believe in that as much at the time. But not a spice person, haven't been, and there were a few throughout the book. The one that really freaked me out was one between Vivian and her foster father. Clyde made it very clear that it wasn't Vivian's fault, and seeing that in any descriptive form, it was a page, and the actual scene was a little less than that, but it was still hard. And I actually looked back at it before I started filming, and yep, not any better, but due to the content, how does it get better? It doesn't. So that was fun. Overall, I wasn't as much of a fan of the writing style. Wasn't as much a fan of some of the active choices that the characters made. But I would say this is probably a 3 or 4 star book for me, because I think it was pretty well done. I think that it was a good look into a piece of history that we don't hear as much about. We hear a lot about the Great Depression. We hear a lot about World War II and Oregon Trail and all of that good jazz. Important pieces of American history. And if you're from Texas, remember the Alamo. If you can go see the Alamo at least once in your lifetime, it is a great thing. but orphan trains, they kind of get shoved to the wayside. So I would strongly recommend, based on a lot of the content in the book, that this is for teenagers at the youngest. So teen on up, I think this would be pretty good. Just, if your teen comes up to you and is like, hey, can I talk to you about something that I read? Please do it. Please do it. Yeah, I honestly don't know that I'm gonna read this anytime soon again, but I'm a little more open to it now than I would have been even a few years ago. So that's my review of Orphan Train. But next week, I think it's gonna be a little bit lighter, maybe a lot, because I am going to be reviewing a book that I grabbed from the library today called Stories of the Islands. And this book is really shiny because it's from the library and it has that plastic covering all over the cover, and I don't want to blind y'all. So I will show this in a video that I'm gonna do about both of the books, kind of a book haul style video, right? See, like this is what you would see due to my wonderful ring light that I just looked into. Don't do that. Don't do that. But anyway, this is by Clara Ancasa. Probably butchered that, and I'm really, really sorry. But I'm really excited because it is a retelling of fairy tales. And I'm sure I've mentioned it before on the channel, but I love fairy tales so much. One of my TBR books is Oliferous, and it's a collection of poetry and short stories that are retellings of fairy tales. So hopefully I can get a hold of that soon, and I'll be able to do a reading vlog, book review of that. But Stories of the Islands. In this collection of reimagined Indonesian fairy tales, the girls are the ones with power. The power to fight evil, to protect others, and to grow as people. Because why should girls in folk tales always need saving? What if they save themselves instead? Based on graphic novelist Clara Ancasa's favorite childhood stories and gorgeously illustrated with a dedicated color palette for each tale, this retelling of Kiong Mas, Bawang Merah Bawang Putih, and Timun Mas is filled with spectacular landscapes, deep emotion, and a firm belief in the power of girls' stories. So, it is a graphic novel type format, and it's fairy tales. So this is like a middle grade book, but fairy tales. And I don't think that I've read many, if any, Indonesian ones. So I'm excited. I will see y'all on Monday with a writing vlog. Hopefully I can get back to Project Wyvern, because I have not been working on that recently. But